Good evening, everyone. How's everybody doing tonight? Today we're here with Sarah Carmichael. She is the mother of Marissa Carmichael, who was age 25 when she went missing from Greensboro, North Carolina, on January 14th, 2024. Last month marked 2 years that Marissa has been missing. There have been some stories done out there, inconsistencies, and tonight we're going to get all the answers from Sarah Carmichael, Marissa's mom, and she's going to tell us some of the things that some happenings and some updates, whatever she can talk about. Because this is still a current open case. So Sarah, good evening. How you doing today? I know it's
I'm
been a
doing
rough.
okay.
I know it's been a rough 2 years. Marissa has been missing. So can you take us back to the beginning and tell us how this all unfolded?
Um, on Saturday, January the 13th, she was supposed to work third shift. So during the day, me and her were napping together on the couch, and she got up and started getting dressed. I wasn't feeling well. I was recovering from a stroke. So um, I did notice that she wasn't wearing her work clothes and she was leaving early. And I asked her, "Where are you going? You're not in your work clothes." And she said she was going to go to the restaurant, the Mexican restaurant by her work before she went into work. So she left normal. The next morning when I woke up, she wasn't there. I asked her friend that Marissa offered her friend to live with us because she was homeless, and they worked together. And I said, "Did Marissa work a double?" And this when I found out that Marissa had went to the club instead. She didn't want me to know. She didn't want me to be worried. So I picked up my phone and I seen missed calls from a number I didn't know. I tried to call back and then I started messaging who it was. Um, and it was Sean's number. It was Marissa trying to contact me. And we had text back and forth, and I immediately just had a feeling. So I filed a missing person report, and by that evening, I was at the Airbnb, going through the dumpsters, knocking on people's doors, passing out posters. Um, and then it's just been a nightmare from there.
So I do have a question now. There was a 911 call. Now, was there one 911 call or were there two 911 calls?
There was two, but the first one was not from Marissa. It was from a girl that was in the Airbnb at the 2 to 6 is what they call it after the club, and she reported that there was a lot of drugs. There were really young girls there. A lot of the men had guns. So when the police did pull up there, Marissa didn't go into the Airbnb. She sat in the truck with Jersey, the guy that was supposed to bring her home, and that's when she left and went to the Exxon. I don't know what happened with the first 911 call, but what gets me is they say that okay, if the Exxon and the Airbnb is a block away, one block away, it's walking distance. And when Marissa left the Airbnb after that first call, and then got tricked and called 911 from the Exxon, was within 7 minutes. But the police are saying they didn't respond for almost an hour because there were no units in the area. That's not true. I heard after the 911 call was hung up, the tape where the lady asked the supervisor what to do about that call. He said 10:20 to it. It's not important. And that's why it took them over 40 minutes to get to the Exxon.
So she made basically made a direct call, and they 1022 this call. So basically said, okay, it's not an emergency, but get out there when you can.
Yeah. And when they did dispatch to go to the Airbnb or no, to the Exxon, it was 2 minutes. So if they had responded when she called, and Marissa did say it's not an emergency, but if you know Marissa, her calling 911, that's an emergency. She does not call 911 for no reason.
Right. Okay. So now are there any suspects in the case or any person of interest in the case?
Yes, Sean Ely.
So Sean Ely. Now I've been hearing about his name from the beginning. So Was he one of the ones that picked her up after she left the Airbnb?
Yes, he was at the Airbnb. Uh, well, see, she posted on Facebook at Club 117 or that club. She posted that she was there, and then he was there. So
Okay.
from there, she went to the Airbnb, and he was there at the Airbnb. He didn't get out of his car. He didn't go in the party. And then when she pulled off and went to the Exxon, he was there. You hear him in the 911 call in the background, and he's on the video right there at the counter with her, telling her, hey, I can give you a ride home.
Okay. So he had to get. So okay. After this, then what? Like what after? So after when the physically like last time somebody actually talked to Marissa or seen her?
At 5:23 on January 14th in the morning, she called her dad's phone, asked to speak to the friend that lived here, the one that left her at the club. She was asking her friend for help. She needed a ride. Could she get in contact with anybody? And her friend was actually in Marissa's bed. She had took an Uber from Greensboro after knowing Marissa needed help, and that was the last anybody's heard or seen after 5:23 that morning.
Now this friend that lived with her, she couldn't shed no light on Marissa's her whereabouts or what was going on with her. If she was calling
No,
her for
she
help.
no, she moved out that same day and left all her belongings here, and did not in any way participate. She sent messages to us saying, "Don't mention my name. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want to be in danger." And since then, we've not heard from her.
So she basically left everything there at your house.
Yes, yeah,
So that right there should have been a red flag itself to police, because if I'm going anywhere, I'm not leaving all my stuff behind.
yeah. I
So
screenshotted all the messages that were and her Uber ride at 4:30 in the morning back here. All that to the detectives. I've spent so many nights just looking for things to send to the detective.
yeah, that's crazy. That like going back to the friend.
The friend
So
talked her into going out. She wasn't planning on going out. She was supposed to work third shift on a Saturday night at Waffle House was good money for her. She was wearing, sneakers, jeans, and a t-shirt. She wasn't even dressed to go to a club. The friend just kept, and why would you hound her to go with you and then leave her? None of it makes sense.
exactly, that doesn't make sense at all. And so you said she moved out. Now, after she found out Marissa was missing, is that when she moved out?
Yeah, I woke her up that day on the 14th, and I said, did Marissa work a double? Where's Marissa? She said, no, she went to the club with me. She's not home. I said, you're in her bed. No, she's not here. Oh, I'll go and find her. And then never, that
Never
was it.
came
She never
back.
came back.
And that's a red flag too, because if you go to the if I, like my basically my friends, guys and girlfriends, if we go to the club, we're leaving together. I'm not letting
Yes,
any of them leave by themselves
yes, definitely.
at all. And like I tell people all the time, like people don't want to cooperate, but this can happen to any of us. Any family could be sitting on this podcast, talking about their loved one and how they're missing. So
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead.
and
I'm
it
sorry.
seems like the victim. A lot of things that I see, and I try not to look at comments and things. It always seems like the victim is blamed. Oh, what was she doing out? At the club. Why was she out? Well, she had 5 kids and worked 60 hours a week. She had a break. The kids weren't with her that night. She had a break to go out and just blow off some steam. You know,
You
it
know, you
doesn't
know,
mean she deserved to be taken.
right? You're always gonna get people in the comments. I try to catch them a lot of time and and erase them. Though you're gonna have judgmental because I know sometimes the comments actually kind of piss me off.
Yeah,
Yes, Nikki Benz. Yes, this is live right now on Facebook and on YouTube. Yeah, a lot of times the comments they might tick me off. I have to keep myself from going off on people in the comments because I got to remember that this is the internet and the internet is like undefeated. So people are always gonna make comments, But at the end of the day,
yeah,
we're just here to help get her face out here and get her story out there,
yes,
right?
yes.
So now so how soon was it that this friend like moved out? Like basically after you woke her up, then what?
She was gone within 10 minutes,
Mm. And that was
and
January
there were
20.
messages. There were messages between her and another girl talking about how many cameras there was around the Airbnb, and I thought that was really weird. Why are you looking around for cameras at the Airbnb? And then after Marissa's phone was taken, um, I got into her Facebook through my phone, how where she would log in, and I went through all the messages, and I was just trying to find out anything I could. And it struck me that the messages between her and her friend had been deleted, but no other messages for months and months had been deleted. So that means somebody deleted the messages between her and that girl. Luckily, the detective was able to get the messages.
Out of her phone.
Yes.
Okay, so all right, so after the friend moves out, then what happens after that?
I just I'm doing searches, handing out posters, knocking on doors, newscasts. I'm doing everything I can. And her saying how much she loved Marissa and was her best friend didn't participate. She kind of, for the first week that we were out searching, she would kind of just come along with other people and sit in their car. But she wasn't out going through dumpsters. She wasn't knocking on doors. She wasn't putting up posters. She wasn't doing anything. It's just like she was there. And I believe it was a setup between her and these other guys
And
because her boyfriend knows the guy
hmm
that told Marissa to go in and took her phone, and he disposed of her phone. Why would you dispose of somebody's phone? And he immediately blocked her on Facebook too. I read the messages between him and her, Marissa and Jersey. That's the name he goes by. And then after that, he blocked her that night, and that was weird.
yeah, that's very weird. She's still missing. Wow. I'm about to say, I've seen this so many times where women they have best friends and they invite these girls into their house, get their relatives to take them in, and then something always happens. Like it's just I don't know, it's to me in this world today, you really don't really have any friends like that. You know what I mean? You really don't have
Yeah.
friends because my
No, you
circle
really can't.
really can't trust anybody.
Let's,
My circle is very small, and
yeah.
so again, for her to up and leave and not even participate in the searches is wrong by itself. Now going back to Jersey, have there been any like raids or any searches on his properties or anything like that?
The detective hasn't told me much about him
Okay,
because it's so active. He's really keeping things
under
really
wraps.
close to the vest. But I do know that the FBI uh, they were looking for Marissa's phone. Jersey told at first he said he threw it out at the Exxon, and the detective says it's on video. No, you didn't. So he admitted to throwing it out at a certain place. It did ping within a 15-mile radius. The detective searched, we searched. We still haven't found her phone. I believe he knew they were going for the phone, and he went back and he got it before we could get out there to search that area.
Yeah, very likely, very likely. So I want to ask you. So the most five important people in this whole thing is her kids. Like I mean I know it's been hard, but how are they holding up? Because I always think about them. Like I always think about the person that's missing, but I always also think about their kids, and I know their kids are going through I know it's hard for them.
Yeah. They the four youngest ones they live with their dad. The oldest lives with me. At their dad's house, they don't really talk about their mom much. But when I'm with them and we have time together, they ask a lot of questions. They want to know. Um, we'll just sit together and just cry. Um, my oldest granddaughter is here right now, sitting here listening. Because I don't think they understand all the things that when I tell them I'm looking for mommy, I'm trying, I'm her voice, I'm fighting for her. They're young, so maybe they don't quite understand. But I know that for my oldest granddaughter, school is hard. Everybody knows. And she'll see things on the internet, and um, it's just it's hard for them. and when I'm with them, I was at a basketball game the other night, and one of my granddaughters was cheerleading, the other one's playing basketball, my grandson, and I just sit there and I just hold back tears because it's like she should be here. She would be so amazed and so proud of everything they're doing, and it's just not fair. It's not, and I have a grandson who's disabled. He has no arms, um, and the doctor said he would never walk, and now he walks and he runs, and
Wow.
and and Marissa always said God, they told her to get rid of the pregnancy, and she refused to. Um, and she said God would, gave her this son for a special reason. And so in my mind, I wonder why isn't she here to see all the amazing things that he's doing?
That is
Um,
awesome. I love to hear stories like that.
yeah,
Cause
he's amazing. He's amazing.
cause
He's so smart. Um, it's just yeah, a couple weeks ago, my youngest granddaughter came, and she was 3 when her mom went missing, and now she's 5. And she came in my room and seen pictures of Marissa all over. Marissa was a baby, and she just kind of stood there and looked, and I was thinking, she's forgetting, what her mom looks like. She's forgetting she was so young, and that really hurts a lot. And I don't want to, you know, put a lot on them, but I want them to remember. I need to keep her alive for them and keep her like, always talk about all the memories that we have.
right, yeah, that's the best. That's the best way. I know sometimes people say, you should shield them, but what happens when they start asking questions? And
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
another thing too, and sometimes we think that these young kids don't understand, but sometimes they understand and know more than some of us adults. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
can totally understand how hard it is. I've talked to so many families, kids, mothers or fathers who have been missing, and some are just it's unexplainable because you hear the pain and the hurt in people's voices when they're talking about their missing loved ones. So I always pray for the missing. I pray for all her kids. I pray for our oldest kid. My message is I know it's hard. I know you miss your mom, but just keep on going. She would want you to keep on going. Just make her proud. And I know sometimes you're going to come across these comments on the internet and stuff like that. Some of them, you got to ignore, and some of them you got to pay attention to because sometimes the people be in the comments. Sometimes some of these crimes are solved by the comments. So you just never
yeah,
know. But yeah,
yeah. I try not to look at the comments, but sometimes I feel like maybe it's some information that's misinformed, and I need to you know correct it. Yeah, so I go back and forth on it. Depends on if I'm having what I call is a down day where I just um my mind's not working. I'm just lost and empty, and you know those days I don't look at the comments, but then there's days where I'm really angry, and I don't want misinformation and judgment on Marissa. Because if you talk to any of her coworkers or any of her friends, I mean, she's just kind. She gave a friend a home, got the friend a job, helped her friend with her baby. Like she would do anything. She was so generous, give homeless people food.
that's not her
Um,
friend though. You hear me? That's not her friend.
no,
I
definitely
wouldn't even.
not.
I would just say that girl. I wouldn't even refer to her as no friend because if she was a friend, she'd be on the front line with you right now, helping to look for
Yeah,
Marissa. Shame on you.
yeah,
If you're listening to this podcast, shame on you. Because friends don't do
yeah,
friends like that.
yeah. Her name's Janaja.
Yeah,
I
friends.
have
Yeah,
no,
friends don't do friends like that.
yeah, I have no problem putting out um anybody's names. I've been threatened to shut up, or Sean's going to get me next, and to go away and just drop it. Um, no, I won't shut up. I won't stop.
People don't understand. For our kids, we're gonna do anything.
Yeah,
You know what I
and
mean?
I've had the thought if you know, as Marissa's mom, what if this is the last thing that I'm doing for her? if this is the last thing that I'm doing for her, I'm going to give it 100%, just like her whole life.
Right, right. As you should. Somebody in the comments put, "Don't stop fighting," and no, don't stop fighting. We're going to be here with you with the fight. You know, I've been posting Marissa since the day. Listen, we did our first podcast. I had to back because it's been 2 years, and I tell people a lot of time when I bring them on these podcasts is this is for awarenesses and for information and to help get these faces out here because a lot of
Yeah,
times some missing persons they don't get news coverage. They don't get news coverage or it's not enough coverage. Like say
yeah,
I don't mean to say it, but Nancy Guthrie's been all over the news
yeah,
nonstop. But hey, that's a different story. But
yeah,
we're talking about Marissa tonight, and I just hope that there's some kind of type answers for y'all soon. Like somebody knows something. Somebody close to her knows something.
yeah. So, from what the detective has said, the searches that he's doing now, um, he doesn't want me to participate, in case they come across something that I shouldn't see, or something that I can't come back from. Um, and he's saying to keep hope, do not lose hope. But he's also telling me to try to, statistically and with the way he said it, no footprints of her in 2 years, nothing at all. To try to, prepare myself for the worst. So I go back and forth, and so right now he's taken over the searches, wooded areas, abandoned houses, creeks, things like that. I feel like he's doing something. This is the second detective. They gave me
Okay.
a new detective. So this new detective, I feel like is he says he's on it active and he's on it daily. I have asked to see the video from the Exxon where Marissa's on the phone and she gets into Sean's car. At first they said I did have the right to see the video, but the DA says that in case it's used in some kind of a trial, they don't want to jeopardize. So I am not allowed to see that video because I could tell Marissa's body language. I can tell from the 911 call that she wasn't herself. That it wasn't from alcohol or it wasn't from weed. It was something different, and I feel like if I could see her body language, I could tell that something was slipped in her drink.
Yeah, or
I,
something like
I feel
that.
like
Yeah.
this was just a plan, and these guys are gang affiliated. Um, so it's hard to get any of them to talk or say anything. Um, just if somebody could just make an anonymous tip, don't say your name, just because the detective said he does follow every lead as if it were real.
Okay.
Um, so
Do you have
I've
a
got some
number?
confidence.
Do you have a number where they can call from the police?
It's either you would call Crime Stoppers. I think it's 336-373-1000. But people
Or
have
not?
told me when
Oh,
they've called that number, I'm not quite sure if that's the right number. That they've had trouble. It's like hard to get through. So I would just
dot nine
call
one one.
911. People that have messaged me and said, "Oh, I think I seen Marissa here, or I think I seen her there," and I would go and look around and ask around, and she was never there. And it's like if you think you see her, call 911.
Right.
If you
Or
have
and
a tip, call the Greensboro Police Department, ask to speak to Detective Simone. He will not give out information to anyone, but he will take your information and he will follow the leads.
that's good.
And
So
you don't have to say who you are. You don't have to say how you know anything. Just say something.
right. So so to be fair, the investigation has been a good one, and they've been keeping up with you, and they've been letting you know.
Yeah, it's been slow in the beginning, and I've talked to Detective Simone. And I said, what I don't understand is with Jersey, Sean was the last one with her. Why was he not brought into the police? Uh, take his shirt off and search his body, because if there was some kind of a fight, Marissa would have left her mark. She was a fighter. She would have clawed him. She would have bit him. There would be marks on his body. They were so slow, over a year to get into his car. Oh, 4 months on a warrant to get into his phone. It's just so slow. That's my problem. It's just been so slow.
Right.
And
And
and when I talked to the detective, I kind of left with more questions than when I call him to get an update. Um, but I do tell him I understand he can't give me information. He can't tell me details of certain things. I just want to know that he is active on this case and that he is, searching for her. For people that said, oh, she was struggling, she was going through things. Um, she was struggling, she was going through things, but she was so tough and she was winning. And she'd even tell me, Mom, get it together, hold yourself together. And with the family things we're going through, and people would say, well, she just left. She would never, and the detective has said it's foul play. She was trying to get home that night. She said it on the phone call. She was trying to get home. If Marissa was going through something, usually she would not be away from home. She would stay at home and turn her phone off and just be at home and just, be with us. She was never one to run away and be gone.
right, right. Oh yeah, of course. I mean, I don't think so either. She has 5 beautiful kids. That she loved dearly, and I know they love her dearly, and I don't see her, walking away from her life or anything like that, because those kids were her
No.
life.
She had big plans. So, things were really looking up, and she's strong. She doesn't give up.
Right. And that's a good thing, about being strong. I'm also glad that you're being strong. You're out here, talking for her, advocating for her. Jumping on podcasts. Any kind of exposure that I've seen that you trying to get her. I've seen you right there, front and center. I gotta commend you,
Yeah.
and I love the
Thank
fact when
you.
family, love the fact that when family do not give up. Please do not give up. Even if they tell
No.
you there's no chance, still keep going. And
Yeah. Oh,
I'll
yes,
be
because justice, whatever the outcome may be, and I try to kind of prepare myself for the worst case, and my mind goes straight to I'm going to be in court every day, and whoever did something to her, they're not getting away with it. I will get justice for her. I will keep fighting for her. And with my health problems, I don't have forever. So, you know, after I'm gone, the burden of this is going to be on her sister, and I just want something, to come out. I just need to know it. It drives me crazy, and I do, have times where I'm strong and I'm angry, and the anger is what brings the strength out of me. But then there's days where I'm just like at the grocery store the other day, I just felt a breakdown coming on, and I just gave my daughter the buggy and told her to finish, and I went home. I couldn't do it. There's just days where I just don't get out of my bed, and my other daughter, she's 20. Um, Mom, come on, get out of bed. Come on, um, the medications that they've put me on for this is I don't like it. It has destroyed me, but I'm still this is my daughter. I, there's nothing that's gonna stop me from trying to be her voice, and just my fear is that it's a cold case and that everybody's gonna forget, and I'm still gonna be just stuck trying and trying. I take every platform that I can get. There's a book coming out, and Marissa has a chapter in that book. It's for missing cold homicide cases and missing people. Um, and she has a chapter in that book, and I'm so looking forward to that coming out. Um, yeah, anything. I don't turn down nothing. If I can get Marissa's name out there and her story out there, I don't turn it down.
Right. As you know, as you should and as you should. So I'm glad that you do that. Um, so you mentioned she has how many siblings does she have?
She has one. She's 20 years old, and she had a baby a year ago, and um, she actually left the hospital in labor because she didn't want to give birth without her sister being there for her. Um, it was really hard on her to have the baby, and I'll have pictures and I'll be like, "This is Aunt Rissa. This is Aunt Rissa," and um, it's just God, it's such a big thing that she missed.
Right. Yeah, that is the big stuff. Cause I know when sisters are close, they're usually there for each other all the time. So I totally
Yeah,
understand. I have siblings too, so I know how me and some of my siblings are. So I totally
yeah,
know.
they're super super close. Marissa's like a social butterfly. She'll make friends with anybody. Emma is more reserved and kind of stays in the house and um, kind of like a antisocial person. So Marissa and Emma were like best friends. So it's hard when we're going through a down day. I don't want people to see me really breaking down, so I'll stay in my room. Or I know if Emma's having a panic attack or she had a dream about Marissa and woke up with a panic attack, and we sometimes we try to kind of hide it because I don't want her to see me in pain and vice versa. But sometimes I know me and my husband, we'll just hold each other and cry, and then just different things pop in my head all the time, and it'll drive me crazy for days. Like what's been going through my mind the past few days is Sean was a stranger, but he had been stalking Marissa, and I believe the reason she got in the car with him is because she's seen him at her job. I'm sure he likes to go to places that are open 24 hours, and she worked third shift at Waffle House, and
Mm.
some of her coworkers have come out and said, "Yeah, he's been here. He's eaten here. She's waited on him." So I think maybe she's thought, oh, "Okay, well, I know him. He comes in and eats at work. He'll take me home." Okay, that's kind of what's been going through my head the last few days.
Okay. Now, Sean, is he the only person of interest in this case?
As far as I know, um, and Sean and Jersey are saying they don't know each other, but they're both from the same town in New Jersey. Um, I stalked them. I stalked Sean. I followed him. I sat outside of motels all night watching him taking women back and forth from different motels. So I know the line of business he's in. And I've seen Sean and Jersey together at the food line in Greensboro. But the detective is saying I can't find a connection between the two of them knowing each other. They do know each other. They're in the same gang. They go to the same clubs. They're I see the connection. So sometimes it's frustrating when it's like so clear that this
So
was
we,
a
so you say
setup.
they're
And
bringing, so you think they're bringing girls? Were they trafficking?
yeah, that's what I believe he's doing. He was at a bar one night, and he comes in around closing time, and he don't get a drink. He doesn't. He just kind of walks around and looks around, and then he goes to Exxon's. He goes to Sheets, Waffle Houses, gyms. He goes to any place that's open 24 hours and looks for women. I have talked to prostitutes that worked for him, but they will not speak to the police. They're scared. I talked to a lady that moved all the way to Raleigh because he was stalking her. Some women have said, yeah, he tried to hold me against my will, but I got away. And these women, they just will not speak to the police. They are so scared of him. I
Yeah.
followed him. My daughter's, the father of my grandchildren, has followed him. We followed him, thinking maybe that would lead us to Marissa, but um, it didn't.
Right.
I was so sure it would, but um, and me and Marissa and my other daughter, we have our own language called gibberish. So when I would go to the motel, so I didn't alarm anybody, but if Marissa was in a room, she would know, and I would yell out in gibberish her name, and I never got a response. And if she heard, she would know it was me and maybe respond. Um, that's when I was sure that she was being trafficked from hotel to hotel. Um, now I just don't know.
Right, because certainly you don't have any answers of what's going on. You know,
And when I get anything new or new information, I just get on it and I obsess over it and I investigate it and I just feel kind of hopeless, like nothing has led to finding Marissa. And then when I'm out of ideas, I just try to think and think what new platform, what can I do next? How can I keep her name out there? I can't let people forget.
right, right. And that's the right thing to do to jump on different platforms because they're different audience. I know since the first time that we talked, I think we were probably under 100,000 followers. Now we're at 200,000 followers now. So a whole new group of audience gets to see Marissa's case now. That's why another reason why I always bring back families multiple times because someone might didn't get it the first time. Someone may see it the second time and be like, hey, hey, I saw Sean this day or I saw Marissa that day, and we can connect the
Yeah.
dots. That's the the,
Yeah.
the main thing, the main thing. But
Yeah.
2 years. I mean, I tell people five, 6 months is too long for me. A year, 2 years is long. Your family deserves answers. Her family deserves answers as to what happened to Marissa. You know, if she's still here, have her, bring her home. If she's not, then reach out anonymously 911, and so her family can get some answers. She has five beautiful kids that miss her dearly, and a couple of the kids don't have a clue what's going on, but the adults do. The oldest child does. So we have
Yeah.
to get get this mom some answers. Is there anything else that you would like to say? Because we basically covered everything.
Just I just from the bottom of anybody, if anybody has a heart and they know, if you are buddies with somebody that is involved and you heard this or you heard that in the streets, just please make an anonymous call. You don't have to say your name. You don't have to say anything. Just make an anonymous call to the Greensboro Police Department, Detective Simone. Um, that's that's just that's all I could ask. That would you know, I don't believe in closure. There's no closure, but
Yes,
um,
you right
it,
about
it
that.
would it would give us some answers because her kids, they need to know. They need to know. I need to know. This has tore me apart. This is you know it's just a nightmare. And just please make an anonymous call. You don't have to expose yourself. That's all. Just for her, for her kids, for her sister, for me, or her dad. We all love her and miss her so much. Life is awful without Marissa in it. And when I think of her, I think of you know that 2-year old stumbling around, walking, and I think of that 5-year old school pictures. I think of so many memories of her whole life. And just if you know anything, that's it. Please make an anonymous call.
Oh yeah, I believe we have a picture of Sean. We can put that in the comments of Marissa's post. Somebody asking for a picture. I could do that after we end this podcast. I'll put that picture in the comments. So
Okay.
yeah, I put that picture in the comments. So what I wanted to say, in closing to everybody out there, you know, please continue to share Marissa's story, her posts, her videos, her flyers, any information that you get, please reach out to the Greensboro Police Department or call 911. It's detrimental. By you sharing the flyer, you can help save a life, possibly save a life, or help bring someone home. Do not sit on information. If you know information, please call the police. There are too many families out here, like Marissa's family, that are dealing with this. And the worst part is not knowing. That is the worst part. The first part is not knowing. And again, I want to thank everybody for joining us. We have been talking about Marissa Carmichael, who was 25 when she went missing from Greensboro, North Carolina, on January 14th, 2024. And we have been talking to Sarah Carmichael. Sarah, thank you so much for appearing, and we will keep in touch with you. Any new information or anything we can do for you, please reach out and let us know.
Okay, thank you for the platform and thank you for always sharing Marissa's story. I appreciate it more than I can say. It's good to know that there are people that care.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. You're welcome. And I'll always be here no matter what. Again, okay, everybody, thank you. And everybody have a good night. Sarah, you have a good night too.
Good night. Thank you.